That is where it all happened around 40 years ago. I came down there with a storyboard and sold myself to Leon Schlesinger, who did cartoons for Warner Brothers. We affectionately called our little shack down there Termite Terrace. It was a cozy little place. They had been dressing rooms in the past, but from there we went over to the other building, and there we were all together. I had my own unit in Termite Terrace. My first two animators, oddly enough, were Chuck Jones and Bob Clampett. As you all know, and 2 years later they became directors themselves, and I hope a little of what I had rubbed off on them, and I'm sure it has, because they've been very successful and very creative people. There we were given full reign of what we wanted to do. Leon Schlesinger, a great boss, had not too much sense of humor. He was a money man, and he let us do what we felt was right. If we made a good picture, he would say, well, give me another one like it. If we made a dog, why, he said, don't ever do it again. But he was nice to work with, one of the best I had in my 45 years in the business. And the boys there, of course, we were all young, and a lot of the funnier things never did get on film. We had an awful lot of fun. Of course, as I say, we were all young, and those were our creative years. I was there 6 years, I guess, and then I went to Metro later. But there was, of course, you all know, the birthplace of Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, and Elmer Fudd. And later, Yosemite Sam, etc. Of course, we all know that Disney was the king of the mountain, and as far as cartoons went, with his silly symphonies. But we couldn't compete. In my case, I couldn't compete with Disney, and I didn't attempt to. I attempted to do things that Disney wouldn't dare to do. What I'm getting at is exaggeration in films, wild takes, distorted fairy tales, and I laid off of the fuzzy wuzzy little bunnies. I made parodies on quite a few fairy tales, almost kidding Disney, because it wasn't my bag along the cute lines. So in my career, I always attempted to exaggerate. Everything I did was exaggeration. I would attempt to top other cartoons that I'd seen in the way of a take. I would go further. I think I went, the most extreme I ever went was decapitating a body, perhaps. The head was in one section, two arms, legs, shoes, socks, all in midair, coming back together. A hit on the head, you've seen many of them. I think the furthest I went in that line was like a piece of china. He was tapped on the head, a dog, cat, whatever. He would gradually crack in many pieces, fall apart into a pile, a heap, on the floor. His own hand would come out from under the pile, reshape himself, and away he would go again. We had never killed a character outright, but the exaggeration I'm speaking of went along many lines, as to runs, chases, so forth, impossible places we could take them, and back again. I've been asked many times, did I make my cartoons for kids? I never did. I thought nothing of the children at the time. My bag was the people in the studio. I would think of them more than anyone else. If it would get a laugh from them, I would go that route. And also, I started playing with the audience. I wanted them aware that they were out there, and then I knew they were out there. I would have a shadow, live-action shadow, walk across the screen and eventually he may get shot, but that person was in the audience. The asides to the audience, a la the old melodrama, I started that, cute, isn't it? Or this is a silly ending, isn't it? Again, at one time I had an animated hare in the projector, which we had a lot of fun with. The hare would animate for perhaps 100 feet. They would stop the chase. One of the villains would stop, pull the hair, pop the hair out, and away they would go again. But that got quite a reaction. Even the projectionists over the country wrote Metro to be sure and put a tag on those particular cans to notify them that there's a hair on the screen, but it's on film. Don't do a thing about it. But visually and verbally, I would play to the audience an awful lot. A long cannon would go on, or a long car perhaps, would go on and on and on and on in front of a nightclub. Finally, it would come to a stop with a sign. Long darn thing, isn't it? I played a lot to the audiences. Around 1945, when I was at Metro, exaggeration again that I dwelt on, I had a picture I called King Size Canary. It got quite a good reaction. There was the little canary and the cat after the canary. Well, through Vigoro, some quick grow pills, the canary accidentally swallowed one. He became larger than the cat. The cat caught on to this. He grabbed the bottle of pills. He would become larger than the canary again. We kept going until a bulldog got in the act, and very fast cuts, the cat would be larger than the canary. Finally, we grew up to a gargantua, a huge thing as tall as the Empire State Building. The cat would appear there. The canary would become larger than he is, and then the bulldog would get into the act. And finally, we ended up, they kept growing very fast, up and down, one larger than the other, and finally a close-up, and the cat had the bottle of the pills, and he finally said, folks, I'm sorry, we're going to have to end this picture. We're out of the stuff. He showed the empty bottle. We pulled back, revealing them on top of the... Around 1945, when I was at Metro, exaggeration again that I dwelt on, I had a picture I called King Size Canary. It got quite a good reaction. There was the little canary and the cat after the canary. Well, through Vigoro, some quick grow pills, the canary accidentally swallowed one. He became larger than the cat. The cat caught on to this. He grabbed the bottle of pills. He would become larger than the canary again. We kept going until a bulldog got in the act, and very fast cuts, the cat would be larger than the canary. Finally, we grew up to a gargantua, a huge thing as tall as the Empire State Building. The cat would appear there. The canary would become larger than he is, and then the bulldog would get into the act. And finally, we ended up, they kept growing very fast, up and down, one larger than the other, and finally a close-up, and the cat had the bottle of the pills, and he finally said, folks, I'm sorry, we're going to have to end this picture. We're out of the stuff. He showed the empty bottle. We pulled back, revealing them on top of the world. Real cute stuff.